Let's be honest, when you think of fishing video games, I'm pretty sure that most of you watching will instantly think of the awesome Sega Bass Fishing on the Dreamcast with the very cool fishing controller. It had fast and frantic gameplay, the arcade perfection that many Sega games are known for, and the simple, easy to pick up and play appeal that attracted gamers who would never even consider heading out onto the lakes or rivers with their own gear. And to me, that's how fishing games should be. Now, I'm sure that there will always be some simulation fans that want ultra realism, but I would have thought that with like flight sim fans, they would have known that PCs are a much better option, and so to pick up this kind of game on a console wouldn't make much sense. Developed by Geared Entertainment and published by Take-Two Interactive, in Fisherman Bass Hunter 64, as the name suggests, is a fishing game which is the single player variety, and it really focuses on tournament fishing. Being a licensed game, you have all of the rods, baits, lures and advice from the pros, and a cool touch, geographically correct fishing locations. Now all that will mean next to nothing for most casual gamers, however, so all that you do need to know is that the game boils down to one of two game modes: championship fishing or fishing for fun. The second of which is quite an interesting choice of name, considering that fun is something that almost nobody will have got from this game. You'll cast your line, fiddle around with it, hope to God that a damn fish nibbles on it at some point anyway, and if not, you'll be repeating the process time and time again. Casually throwing your line out in vain, hoping that eventually something will happen. Unless you have the patience of a saint, then like me, you'll switch on your speedboat's engine and imagine playing some simulation style version of Hydro Thunder. Literally anything could be more interesting than this game. But then suddenly, out of nowhere, you'll get a nibble. If the fish keeps interested enough, it'll eventually bite and the reel action begins. And by reel action, I mean helplessly trying to reel in a fish that's way stronger than it should be, and despite your hardest attempts to land it, you'll find that it's managed to drag you out to the other side of the lake and broken itself free. That, my friends, is Bass Hunter 64 in a nutshell. So there's no need to continue watching this video. Surely there's a new episode out now of the complete history by Slopes Game Room, and so go watch that instead or do something better with your time. Okay, so those still here must have an interest, so I'll carry on with the rest of the stuff that isn't going to make the game any more fun. The graphics are probably the best of any N64 fishing game around. You choose a single male or female character to play as, and the lakes themselves look, well, exactly like lakes really should. The weather conditions and also water conditions do make the lakes feel more alive, and if you stick around long enough, the conditions also change during the day, which was a nice touch. The fish are actually animated quite nicely, and each species has a clear personality when you're trying to get their attention. Catfish, for example, will go straight up to your bait and snatch it. Bass, on the other hand, almost tease you a little bit more and really make you work for their gobs. They also have some nice fighting animations, and when they really don't want it to be caught, they can make one heck of a splash trying to get away. In terms of the game's audio, things are minimalistic, which I think many people who like fishing games will have enjoyed. Aside from the basic menu music, everything else in game is pretty mellow and non-offensive. Now this is a good thing, as when you're sitting around for what feels like an eternity for something to happen, the last thing you want is to be driven stir crazy by the music. The effects are surprisingly good, and there's plenty of clear water noises, splashes, and the boat engine tugs along nicely as it should. For those into their fishing games, there's two areas you have to fish in this particular game, and they are Arthur Lake in Pennsylvania and Butler Chain Lakes in Florida, and each of them has 3 different areas which can be unlocked. The developer also secured the rights to officially licensed equipment, and so if you do know your gear, then chances are you'll be able to select your perfect setup right away. In the championship mode, you'll start off as a rookie, and by landing bigger fishes and winning events, you'll earn points which you can use to unlock better gear, which does give the game somewhat of a reason to continue playing it. Sadly though, the gameplay just isn't that fun. I know I'm 100% not the type of player this was aimed at, but the game's too frustrating to pick up and play for casual fans. And more serious fishing fans would have been more interested in some of the better software found on the PC. It's a game which was very niche, but still struggled to find it on the N64 even with its limited library. And so for today's topic of conversation, I'd love to know if you're a fan of fishing, and if so, what's the biggest fish you've ever caught? And that's pretty much all I can think of to link this game to fishing, and so just talk amongst yourselves in the comment section down below, and until next time.